Everybody, welcome. I'm Steven. This is Bryan as always.
I'm Bryan.
And we got a great show for you today. On this episode, we're going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse as well as Game of Thrones. We're going to talk about the last episode that happened.
Hold door. Hold door. Hold the door. Hold door. Hold door. Hold door. Hold door.
And you got to admit, I mean, that's a pretty...
That was an amazing scene.
That was an amazing scene. When we were at the bar last night, actually, people were saying in their selfies, hold the door. Hold the door. Scared a couple chicks off,
Hold
too.
Door.
But
it's interesting to see a character that we finally know why it was, and it ends up being his death. I mean, that's amazing. Like, I can't believe, like, it's so awesome watching, like, Game of Thrones is such a great show. It's literally just watching, like, a movie every week. And, we have Holdor, and unfortunately, spoilers, he dies. That's why he's called Holdor. You know, can you imagine that he's probably known that his entire life?
yeah,
He
he's just
Holdor.
known it, and that was his number one mission in life, and no one ever knew. They just thought it was his name.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that.
And it's interesting how those, what are those tree girls?
They're witches.
Witches kind of things. They created the White Walker, that
Yeah.
one guy.
The White Walkers, yeah.
And
Because they
wow.
felt threatened by the human race, so they made these White Walkers to challenge the human race to protect them, and it ultimately backfired on them.
that is amazing.
And it became an unstoppable force, which is very good. But we'll go on
Very good episode.
Yeah.
In my
We'll go into a little bit more detail about
What
it
else
in a little
happened?
bit. We'll go into a little bit more detail. Let's concentrate on the X-Men Apocalypse. It came out today, Friday.
We
Which is
saw it
great.
last night.
Saw it last night for the opening show.
Yeah, speaking of Game of Thrones, we have
Funny
Sophie
thing.
Turner, who's...
Funny thing.
You know,
Actually, funny thing
what? Go ahead.
is, when we went and watched this movie, we thought it was regular and it was messed up and it was 3D.
Yeah, let's say, okay, so I'll tell a little story about that. Like, we went to the theater, and then we got through the previews, and then they got a special preview, and I turned to Samson, and I was like, why is it in 3D? He's like, oh, it'll change when the movie starts, and I was like, are you sure? And then the movie starts, and everybody, it's all blurry, the way that if you look at it without the 3D glasses, it's like blurry, because it's like two things coming at you. And the whole theater, like, collectively, there's about 100 people in there, just collectively kind of looked up and was like, what the hell? And then a bunch of people started getting up and, like, getting it to change. They're going to change it, but I just ran straight to that big, we used to work there, so, like, those 3D glasses, the bins, I just lifted up the bin and dug around and grabbed the glasses. And then I came back, and I was too selfish. I didn't think about anybody else, but came back and grabbed a couple more, and then we had 3D. So it was meant to be not 3D, but then they fucked up and it ended up being 3D.
Yeah. So whoever paid for the non-3D got to watch 3D without even paying for it, which is pretty nice.
It is nice, but it's just too
but
bad.
But most people go to watch these movies non-3D.
We couldn't.
I
had no idea what had.
I don't know what the first text was about. I don't know the whole first scene.
No idea.
I had no clue what was going on.
All I could figure out was that. By the way, this is spoilers for the movie. We're gonna spoil the movie. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're out of luck.
You're out of luck. Apocalypse is being created in the beginning. From what I can tell, that's what's happening, and then
he's not actually called Apocalypse.
No, he's just.
He says his names. He's been known as many names. He even says Ra. He's been known as Ra, the sun god.
Yeah.
You know, he's been known as that. But no, it was very interesting to see this first scene where he's actually created. You know, where we get to see him actually he's in an old form and he's transferring his body, his consciousness into another body. And that's how he gets all these powers. That's why he's this big ultimate mutant.
So he's known as like the first mutant, and like ever. And we go to Cairo, Egypt, and we see him basically meet Storm, and you see Storm is like, remember I turned to you and I was like, one jump ahead of the hitman, like Aladdin, Storm creates, it's kind of cool, Storm creates like some wind, and then these people like get crazy about it in the merchant area, and then she just jumps and grabs like some money and then runs away. And then she gets cornered by a couple of guys basically saying, choose a hand, we're going to cut off your hand because you stole. And then Apocalypse comes out of nowhere. Or let's just call him Apocalypse so you know who we're talking about. He comes out of nowhere.
The fake god.
Yeah, the fake god. Or fucking Poe Dameron, because that's
Poe
the guy
Dameron,
who plays him.
Well,
it's that guy.
That's actually not his name, Poe Dameron.
No, I know, but Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah, Oscar Isaacs.
Oscar Isaacs, who's an amazing actor. You're awesome,
yeah.
Oscar. He saves her and then gets so we watch him get a bunch of different people, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And it's Storm, Archangel, Magneto, and somebody else. Olivia Munn's character.
Yeah.
What's her name?
You could look it up too. You have IDMB.
You're right. IMDb, dummy.
Oh well.
There's a lot of people that we can talk about in this movie. I am very excited for Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones to be Jean Grey. She's amazing.
She does. She plays a really good young Jean Grey.
I'm looking. Olivia Munn. There's a lot of people in this movie.
Wait, don't go back. Is that it?
There it is. I can't. Psylocke.
Yeah, Psylocke.
Yeah.
She plays Psylocke, which is pretty
right.
cool with those. She uses a sword, a katana, right? Mm-hmm. But then she has her own power, which comes out in the form of a sword or a lasso, whatever she wants. She can create with that power, which is very interesting.
So let's jump to the middle. Remember, what do you think about Eric's his family, the way they died? I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a little bit.
I didn't tear up. I thought
a beautiful scene.
At first, I only thought the daughter got shot, but then as soon as when they both combined fall.
So here's what happens. Magneto is in. They're in Germany. No.
Russia.
Somewhere.
There's around Poland.
Sorry, they're in Poland. I'm sorry, he's Polish. They're in Poland, and he has a family. He's got a wife and a beautiful daughter, and he sings a song to her, and we get to know the family a little bit. And he works at this big metal factory, which is ironic. Steelworks. It's ironic because he can literally control the whole place if he wanted to. But he keeps a low profile, and but there's an accident that happens, and this guy, one of his coworkers, almost dies, and out of instinct, he just stops it from happening. And then a lot of people saw it. And then they tell the police, and then their police they get the kid, and they kind of kidnap the kid, which I thought was fucked up. Yeah. But they get the kid, but they're not wearing their badges, and they're not carrying pistols, because those are made of metal. They have bow and arrows. And then he comes out and is like, look, I'll do whatever you want. Like, arrest me, I don't care. Like, just give me my daughter back. So they're like, great, we'll give you, and they hand the daughter over. And then she freaks out and starts thinking that she's going to lose her dad. So she starts doing that grab thing that we see in the first X-Men that he does in the Alcatraz. Yeah. And I knew right then and there that we were going to see her power. And I don't know much about his daughter, but her power is I don't know really what it was doing, but it was controlling the birds, and all these wildlife. All these birds were swarming around the cops, and they were freaking out. And one guy with an arrow doesn't notice, lets go of the arrow, and it goes right into her back. And the mother and daughter are embracing, and it goes into the daughter's back and into the mother's chest.
Yes. And
he just goes nuts. And
but we can really see the emotion because, like, we can see his tears.
Cried, I swear to God.
We can see his tears, but then we can really see, him losing himself again. Mm-hmm. Because he's trying, the Professor Xavier's way, and then when he's holding that necklace, that pendant, his daughter's pendant, and he opens his hands and it
goes streaming around the room and around the area and just cuts everybody's throat. And and he's back to being.
And then it just grabs it again.
It does that philosophy between Magneto and Xavier, where it's like Xavier's like exactly. Xavier's just trying to he's trying to be like, okay, we can live with humans. I know we can do it. We just have to give it time. And Magneto's like, fuck you. Are you serious? Do you realize what goes on in I was branded with a number on my arm. Human beings are evil. Like they're just out to destroy everything they don't understand. Fuck them. And you can kind of see it both ways, and it's that never-ending debate about how they can live with humans or how they can't. And that's really what it comes down to about X-Men. That's what I like about them, is they're united in their own way, but they're also Magneto's a bad guy only because he feels differently about what they're doing. And so it's a weird balance line, but we see Nightcrawler, and this is sort of an origin story for
Nightcrawler.
It's Cyclops.
Well,
we really have a big part with Cyclops where it's kind of cool. It's from the comics, and like he's in class and his eyes hurt, and then he leaves and goes to the bathroom and opens them and destroys the bathroom, so he has to go to Xavier's school because he's outed as a mutant, and it's nuts, man. He gets to meet Jean Grey for the first time, which is our girl from Game of Thrones. So it's a really good movie, and it gets really good up until a certain point. It gets kind of boring, but then they get captured by Stryker. See, first we see a great moment where our Quicksilver has his scene again with that slow motion and the fucking music, and he runs. There's an explosion that happens underneath the school, and I'm not gonna tell you about that. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's an explosion that happens in the school, and you see it slow motion. We get to watch this great sequence of Quicksilver running in, doing something funny, then grabbing somebody, and he gets out every student. I mean, you're led to believe that he gets out every student, or at least everybody who's there at the time. But it's right after that they get captured by Stryker, and then as soon as I saw Stryker, I was like, oh, Slink, Slink, Slink! Oh, I know who's coming! Weapon X, baby, Weapon X! And I'm excited about that because we get to see the kids. They're all captured there. He walks up on all of them. He's like, I want this one, this one, this one, this one. And it's Nightcrawler, Mystique, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and somebody else, I think. And he captures them and then brings them to his, like, where Wolverine was created. And they escape, and then they get to, like, this area, and Wolverine is in this big giant box, or metal box, and they're like, what's that? Who's that? And they're like, oh, and Jean Grey figures out, oh, it's they call him Weapon X, and I was like, yes! Slink, slink! And then, my man, the reason why I come to these movies, why I watch these movies, is my man, Wolverine. Hugh Jackman, dude. This guy, I can't believe he's almost done, but he's going to go out in a bang, because he busts out, and he's got that shit all over his body, looks like the comic books and shit, and he's just ragingly pissed. And he just fucking takes out all these guys and clears the path for the kids to run. And then Jean, they stop him at the end, and he takes out the helmet and stuff. And we get to see that badass kind of like mullet look. He looks like a hockey player kind of. It's just like, it's fucking dope. And he's all fucking raged out. But then she calms him down and gives him some memories that he needed to go on, and it's cool because I feel like it ties it all into all of his independent movies, like all of his individual Wolverine movies. And then, I mean, the movie was just amazing. What were some of the parts you liked?
You covered all of the movie. I can't really say much more.
I'm a huge fan of X-Men. I love the X-Men.
Fully understand, man. Fully understand. If I cover anything else, it's going to repeat.
God,
it's going to just repeat what you said. So, I mean,
what else do we have to talk about?
Well, we have Game of Thrones. So just to say, go see X-Men Apocalypse. If not, you're a loser. And if you do go see it, you're a nerd like us.
And be sure, I'm looking forward to Through the Looking Glass.
That should be interesting. That should be fun too. Plus, last movie for Snape or whoever.
Oh, Alan Rickman.
Yeah, last movie,
yes,
Alan Rickman.
Respects to Alan Rickman.
Rest in peace, right there.
Yeah, it's bad he lost him, but we can honor his life in this movie.
Last movie. Yeah. He'll always be Snape to me, though.
Yeah.
He'll always be Snape to me.
Well, have you seen Dogma? You should watch that.
No, I've never seen Dogma.
Yeah, you should watch that movie. He's great in that movie.
But anyway, so
back to Game of Thrones.
We moved to Game of Thrones. We have it's season 6. The name of this is
The Door.
The Door. And they're trying out, which is great how they named it because they made it so that it wasn't.
Yeah, you don't
giving
think
away too much.
Hold the door. Yeah.
It wasn't giving too much to the door. I really like. One scene I really like.
I must have read the books because I think that this is from.
We're going to Theon Greyjoy, right?
Mm-hmm. Dickless man. That was so mussed up. They're like, you have no dick. Who cares about you? Like, she's trying to call. She has bigger balls than he does because she's trying to like claim the throne and be the queen, and like he's like, I could blah blah blah, and then like, whatever, you're dickless. Like, what a horrible situation.
No, but it's kind of cool to see that he's still trying to do something with the Iron Islands. But what I really like is when their uncle, finally does become king. What I think is cool is that Theon and his sister steal the whole Ironborn fleet. They take it. Because she's the main commander. Like, all those military follow her. So she knows that. So we see that scene where their uncle's getting, like, drowned pretty much. Because, what must die, what dies, something like that, what dies may never live or something like that. Bullshit. But, so they drown him, and while he's getting drowned, we see Theon and his sister taking the fleet, and he doesn't realize that till the end, and now there he is, telling them to build 1,000 ships, and he'll give them the world, which is bullshit, because he thinks Daenerys is gonna let him fuck her and be king and her queen. Bullshit. Daenerys will rip your dick off, and you'll be dickless.
Seriously.
But we have that. We also get to see another bit of Marine, where we get to see another red woman. Another red woman, which is showing that it's not just one red woman. It's a clan. This clan of witches all worship the Lord of Light. Mm-hmm. And they all agree that, that there is a chosen one, that one is born to do it,
Yeah. All right, well, what else happened?
We get a little bit of, where we get to see Jon Snow, finally leaving the Night Watch. And he's taking Sasha, and he's taking Sansa. He's taking Sansa and everybody else. They're going because they're trying to rally the clans of the North.
Oh, okay.
Trying to rally the clans of the North, because some of the North, because they don't know that there's anybody else from the Starks, they've sided with Bolton.
Yeah.
And because of that, they know that if they have a standing, that there's a couple houses that will side with the Starks still, and when they side with the Starks, the others might come too. So that's really what we're going to see is that beginning. We also get to see Arya again, which is great.
Well, what's the guy with the red beard? I want to see that.
Wild Man.
The big guy and the big girl hook up, dude. That'd be awesome.
That'd be one fuck.
Everybody wants to see that. Like, there's so many memes.
Oh, you can see him, and he's just like.
Yeah, he's checking her out. It's so awesome.
He
I'm
likes
just like,
woman.
yeah. I don't know. It'd be fun to watch.
I thought it was also interesting with Arya though. We get to see Arya again.
What happened to her?
Arya, she's over there. She's observing this. When we first see Arya Stark. She's observing this theatrical play, where it's the first time in a long time we see comedy.
Yeah, we got to see some comedy. We got to see like a play. I didn't know that world had like people who would want to act or like put on a play or I mean I get it. It's like it's a form of communication and entertainment. Yeah. It's like I just was like watching it. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like, she got to see like how their world perceives it, how the people who are not rich,
And so you have that, but then you also see her, like she got sent there to watch that for a reason. She's going after. She's going after a hit that was paid for already, and she doesn't understand why. She's still like kind of in that tie between, is she no one, or is she still Arya? And we get to see that when she's asking like, oh, why is she getting hit? She seems like a very humble person. And the guy goes, the contract's already been paid, the hit's been paid. And so we really get to see her still question herself, even though she's saying a girl has no name. She still has that bit of Arya.
Yeah, and I feel that they know that, so I don't know if they're gonna.
And that's why because they're saying a person who has no name doesn't ask questions. She still asks questions. So that's really good. And then I really, really like that scene that last scene where we get to see Bryan. Brian, I think it's Brian, and he goes. And, he's still trying to, observe this, he goes to that place where the witches created the White Walkers in this vision, and one of the original White Walkers sees him and grabs a hold of his arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah. He saw me, and he was like, oh.
Oh,
yeah. But then because he had touched him,
I forgot.
now he can come in.
That's right. And
so we really get to see, Bryan starting to become, because he's crippled, but we really get to see his powers and him really becoming the Stark that, everybody's hoping for and that the old man's been working on with him, Really been working on, and he's like, oh, it's time for you to become me. He's like, am I ready? And the old man goes, no. But it's time. He has to grow up. He has to do this. And that's when he takes control of Hodor and because Hodor is petrified. He's petrified. The White Walkers are coming through the roof.
I know, man. I was so sad when that scene happened. It was
a great scene, though, to see that connection, to see him sacrifice himself. His ultimate goal, literally since that moment, was to save Bryan and to save Westeros and everything, and save the North. And that one scene tied it all together. And we got to see why he said Hodor. And it was very emotional. The music, also the soundtrack choice, really brought it together. And I definitely felt a little bit of emotion watching that. Like, that was it. That's the last we're ever going to see him, and that literally just him holding the door, screaming the Hodor, the last door, saying Hodor for the last time. And I think,
I cried a little bit too.
I'm looking forward to the next episode.
I'm an emotional man.
Hey, no problem. I had some time.
It was hard. I was like, man, oh my God, Hodor. I was like, why that guy? He had no point. Like, he didn't want to do anything. Yeah. He just wanted to live.
Yeah.
And that's really hard in that world. Yeah. Even if you want to do something with your life. Like, I was like, why him? But, I love the show because it just keeps getting you in there.
It's getting better and better. I think it's a lot better than season 5.
It's getting better. It started out to me a little slow, a little rocky. We had to raise somebody back from the dead, and, so...
So it's getting better, and I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
Which we will review.
We will definitely review.
Sorry about the hiatus. We've been moving, literally.
We're getting we're getting our studio set up. We're going to have a better studio. We're also going to be, in the next couple of weeks, we're still fine-tuning it. We're going to be bringing you the game show. If you want to be on the game show, let us know. Message us at nerdswithoutfilters@gmail.com. Or, hit one of us up. Or message us on the Facebook page, Nerds WO Filters at Facebook. But looking forward to, doing this every week with you guys. We love sharing our opinions with you. We love sharing everything. This is what we do. This is why we're nerds.
It's our passion.
We love this, and we love movies.
Free therapy.
Yeah, and we definitely just, like always, we love the support you guys give us. We love everything you guys do. We're here for you guys, and you're here for us. And we just like to always end with, nerd out, guys.
All right, nerd out, guys. Love you, Internet.